From Meadowbank Thistle to helping Celtic stop 10 in a row for Rangers to starring for Scotland against Brazil at the World Cup, Darren Jackson had an amazing playing career. I'm Derek McGregor and this is One on One, and the Hamilton Accies coach discusses it all, including the shocking moment he was told he required brain surgery. But just 9 weeks later, after an extraordinary operation, he was back playing again against Rangers. But Darren also provides a fascinating insight into his spells with Dundee United, Hibernian, and his boyhood heroes, Hearts. Nice jacket, Darren.
Thanks very much. Yeah. Quite like yours too.
Thanks, thanks. Well, we can discuss later who wears it the best, but how you doing?
Good, yeah. Happy. Things are fine, things are good.
Looking at your career, incredible depth to your career, Darren. Player, coach, pundit, agent. But I thought the best place to start was possibly the best moment in your football career, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. June '98, Brazil, Stade de France, Paris, opening game of France '98. Absolutely incredible. But you tell me.
Yeah, it was, Derek. I mean, it was an amazing month. I just won the league with Celtic, obviously stopping 10 in a row. And then you get selected. We were actually on our way back from a trip with Celtic when the Scotland squad was named, and there were 7 of us named in the squad. So it was, we'd just won the league and we'd been selected for the World Cup. So it was just a couple of drinks. And it was, yeah, I mean, it is the pinnacle. I mean, if you ask any player what they would love to do and play for their country at a World Cup. And listen, I never dreamt of it at all, because of where I started at Meadowbank.
I mean, you get 28 caps in total. I'm guessing clearly Brazil in the opening day of a World Cup final, you cannot beat that, really, can you?
Well, you can't, because if you want to play against any team in a World Cup, it's Brazil. And getting drawn in the first game, where I'd imagine everybody watches the first game, and everyone watches the final.
Yeah.
So there would be a few millions obviously watching it, but it was just great. Family coming over, just a proud moment for them all, and thankful for me, for my mum and dad, for everything they worked hard to give me, and it was just great for them as well.
Was that uppermost in your mind when you were in the dressing room, indeed walking out, the whole build-up to the game? Was that where you come from, your parents, everything that everyone had done for you?
Well, I've said this, Derek, that I stood in the tunnel and Ronaldo was standing beside me, and I don't know why I just thought of it, but it just came to me that I played for Meadowbank and I'm standing here. It was just surreal. It was just an incredible moment. And I mean, you're not wanting to get too emotional in the lineup, but you could, because it's a great achievement, and I'm not trying to blow it out of proportion. It's an incredible achievement to get to a World Cup, to get to play for your country. I mean, I didn't get my first cap till I was 28, so getting 28 caps, I was over the moon.
But I think at that incredible moment at the Stade de France, you're already a major star. And yet, there's that kind of sense of being humble, that feeling that I think any of us would have had. For you, it's just incredible.
Listen, what
emotional.
What I think was great as well, Derek, is that, and you couldn't do it now because of social media. When we walked out with the kilts on, my family, nobody knew that we were doing it. Craig had just said, could you just keep it under wraps?
This is about an hour or so before kick-off. The squad emerges.
Yeah, and we walked out and we've got the kilts on. I thought it was a brilliant touch.
How did you keep that secret? Even with the absence of social media?
Yeah, well, I think it's credit to the boys. I never told any of my family.
Just wanted to respect the moment.
Just and let them enjoy the moment. Yes, walking out.
Have you kept the kilt? Have you still got it?
I've still got it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it still fit?
Still
okay.
fits, actually, yeah. I don't think it'll fit a few.
But first of all, for the squad for France '98, how confident were you that you would be in it if you were fit? and playing reasonably well for Celtic at that point?
Well, obviously what happened with my brain operation, I thought I might have been struggling because listen, it ended up being out a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, and I got back in. I'd never regularly got in the Celtic team, but Craig was a very loyal person, and I think my past performances he thought merited me being in the squad.
For the national team?
Yes.
Yeah, Craig, loyalty was huge for Craig Brown, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And listen, Derek, I can say now, I would obviously we'll go on, I never played at Euro 96. I don't think I would have started if Gary McAllister hadn't been fit, had been injured. Gary had done his cruciate, and which was a blow for Scotland. But I was lucky enough to want to be picked and actually wear Gary's number, the number 10. So it was just great. It was, I mean, looking back, and you still look at pictures, and I've got a few pictures in the house, me with Ronaldo, me with Rivaldo, Dunga, Roberto Carlos, and by looking back in them, it's amazing.
But then we also had players of quite some repute. Okay, maybe not of that status, but when you look back in that era, Darren, when you're talking guys of real standing in Scottish football, your Jim Leightons, your Colin Henrys.
Listen, Derek, you could go on.
John Collins.
Listen, you've got Leighton and Gorham, who arguably Scotland's two best keepers. There'll be someone else, but you've got Hendry, Boyd, Calderwood,
Paul Lambert,
McKimmie. I played with Craig Levine, Alan McLaren with Scotland, Paul Lambert, Craig Burley, Stuart McCall, Paul McStay, Johnny Collins, Gary McAllister, McCoist, Kevin Gallagher, John Spencer, John McGinley, Duncan Shearer, and Pat Nevin.
Yeah.
So listen, and Billy McKinley, I'm going to miss a few out, which I apologise. Did I say Colin Calderwood? Calderwood. By the way, an incredible squad. They weren't, Derek, I wasn't, and I'm not bringing myself to, I wasn't their standard. They were top players. They weren't just good players, Scotland players. They were top players. McAllisters, McStays, Collins, Hendrys, Gorham, Leighton, Boyd, McCoist, Jury, Kevin. They were top players. So, but
they weren't exactly.
No, listen, I know, but listen, and I'm not looking for you. I was a good player.
Yeah, well,
they were, as I say, they were the best.
Give me an insight into the build-up to the Brazil game and I suppose the tension, if that's the right word, within the squad. Everyone wants to play in that game. What do you recall with the build-up, and when did you finally know you were in the lineup?
Well, I didn't expect to play. I thought Billy McKinley would have played, and I think that was the plan, and then things changed, and we came down, and Craig named the team, and I was in it, and I was surprised, but obviously pleasantly surprised.
In your mind, were you on the bench?
Yes.
Yeah. And that, I take it, that alone was good enough for you.
Listen, being in the squad, as I say, being at Euro 96 was amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to have gotten at Wembley, Villa Park. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it without playing. And as I say, I didn't expect to play, but when it comes along and you are starting, of course, nerves. You're playing Brazil. But the build-up was great. The hotel was fantastic. And then Craig and Alec and the rest of the staff just did everything down to a T.
Is that the most nervous you've been for a game?
No. Probably the most nervous I've been to an Old Firm game.
Uh-huh.
I actually said I actually wasn't that nervous for the game.
Yeah,
it was amazingly that I wasn't nervous. I thought you're playing, like the whole world's going to be watching, but I was actually quite calm. I'm definitely more nervous than an Old Firm game.
Yeah, your first Old Firm game was particularly momentous, of course, for reasons we'll touch on a wee bit later. But when you're walking onto the pitch for a game against Brazil of such magnitude, Are you also motivating yourself? Are you saying to yourself, let's show I deserve to be on this stage, let's show myself here?
Listen, I think there's no doubt I had doubters, and so I had to go and try and produce a performance. So, but that wasn't a problem. I mean, you want to go in and produce a performance for you, for your team, for the manager, and obviously for your family that's there, and for the fans. But you personally, you have to look and say, right, did I do enough? And so, but it was great walking out. Obviously, they were hand in hand walking out and all that, and it was just that walk out and the lineup.
Did you take from that they were fearful, that they were all having to hold hands?
Well,
they were worried.
You know the story. Craig came in and we were all sitting there, and Craig came in and said, "Boys, they're shitting themselves." and we a little bit. It was just his way that.
Right in the ice.
Yeah. Yeah. Just he just wanted to say something to just gee us up and get us and listen.
Were you laughing?
Yeah, well, inside we were all like, yeah. I'm sure Ronaldo's through there worrying, but listen, we lost the goal after 4 minutes, and you actually, I did worry. I just thought to myself, because as I said, I've played at Celtic Park, I've played at Ibrox when I've had a right, but and you lose a goal, they always say keep it tight for 20 minutes, and they score after 4 minutes, and you think, but I thought we played really well, and obviously, you know what, he rubbed it in because he said it rubbed in enough, but Boyd his own goal, but I thought we were great. I thought without doubt we deserved a point that day.
Did you see your mum and dad in the crowd before the game?
I did see them. I went over to speak to them. Yeah.
And
my girlfriend, I got married to, was there. So
that's an amazing moment.
It was. Listen, more so probably. I mean, my mum loved it. My mum absolutely loved it. But my dad, I mean, he followed. My dad never ever drove, so my dad got a bus everywhere, and he followed me everywhere. Newcastle, Dundee, everywhere. And he got the bus. So for that day, he must have, because I know my son, unfortunately, was never good enough to make it. But my daughter's been a dancer, and he has played football, and there's times where I've been unbelievably proud. And my other daughter, even at her hockey. And so I can only imagine how my dad and my mum felt that day.
There's few better feelings than when you're watching your children do well at something. You know, that,
of course it is.
That feeling as a parent. So that you can now properly feel, realise what it meant to him to see you in such a big stage and where you come from.
100%, yes. Especially, and this isn't me blowing it out of proportion, but yes, where I came from, Meadowbank, where yes, League Two, in Scottish football. And you're never ever thinking you're going to play against Brazil in the World Cup.
Now, along with many people I've spoken to in one-on-one, Darren, I know Craig Brown is a special person for you and will always be a special person. And I believe there's a particular story that underlines the value for you of Craig and what he meant to you in your career.
Yeah, it was actually, I was at Meadowbank and Terry, I worked as a printer. And Terry phoned my work one morning and says, "Dan, you've been selected for Scotland under-21s." Craig was obviously the manager. "You've been selected." I was 18. I was thinking, wow, brilliant, great. So I just went back working and doing my job. And about 4 hours later, Terry phoned the work again and said, "Dan, we've just accepted a bid for Newcastle. We're going down tonight." So
incredible.
We went down that night and I signed for Newcastle. And it wasn't until 10 years later, Craig told me the story that he named me in the squad, and Ernie Walker walked in his room and threw the sheet on the table, and he says,
then the chief executive of the SFA,
yeah, says, "I'm not having that, a second division player in our under-21s. It's not acceptable." And Craig turned around and says, "Listen, I think he's got a chance. He's a good player." He says, "You need to change that. We're not having that in our under-21s." So obviously that night I'd signed for Newcastle, so Terry had got in touch with Craig to tell him I'd signed for Newcastle. And so Craig walked into work the next morning at Hampden and went into Ernie Walker's office and said, "Hey, Mr. Walker, I've changed that for you." He says, "I'm glad you've done that." He looked and said, "Darren Jackson, Newcastle United." In his face, Craig walked out and says, "I know what I'm doing."
It's quite a story. It's quite a story. Of course, Craig gave you all of your caps.
They gave me all my caps.
All your 28 caps. And I thought for an Edinburgh lad, Darren, you score at Easter Road for Scotland. I think it was a game against Finland.
Yes.
And your last cap was at Tynecastle.
Yes.
So, as I said, for a boy from the capital, just fantastic.
Yeah. Listen, you never want it to end. But probably the time was, we actually won 3-2 against Estonia. I think Dodsey might have come on as sub and they scored 2.
Yeah.
In the Finland game, we drew 1-1 and I scored. So, yeah, as an Edinburgh boy, I was proud to be an Edinburgh boy, and it was magic. I
mean, another remarkable aspect of your career, your international career alone, Darren, was quite something. But you play in the game that never was. Estonia, Tallinn, 96. It's just bizarre. You line up for kick-off, you're all kitted up, but there's no opposition.
Yeah. Well, we were told that they weren't going to turn up, but Craig and Alec, the staff, did everything that they were turning up.
Yeah.
So we did everything.
Professional right to the
kick-off.
Yeah.
And so we set up, we did the warm-up, we came back in, got ready, walked out, and obviously we kicked off.
Tell me that feeling in the dressing room. Did anyone do a motivational talk?
No, it was just, it was mad. And what I can remember and says, Craig had said to Johnny Collins, "If we need to score a goal, just you go up and score." And I was thinking to myself, aye, right. Because I had just scored my first goal against Latvia on the Friday night or something. This was the Sunday. I'd scored my first goal, so I was thinking, brilliant, playing Estonia, good chance of getting another one. So, but listen, it was surreal. I mean,
So you're saying if John was striding up towards the goal, you'd have sprinted with him?
Yeah, I'd have taken off him. I'd have tackled him and taken off him.
Of course, there'd been a dispute over the floodlights. I think maybe even the night before.
Well, it was their complaint. We were fine with everything.
Yeah.
And it was their, whatever it was, the pitch or the floodlights, and they weren't happy. And it was their home game, and so that's what was strange. They're complaining about their home pitch.
The night game became the afternoon game, and they refused to turn up.
Yeah. So and then the return leg in Monaco, I was injured with my hamstring, so. I never made that one.
Well, a game of Tallinn, never put a foot wrong.
Yeah, no, probably my best game. A lot of people say that.
So, your Scotland career was, full of so many incredible stories. And when you look back on it, is it just sheer pride?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, there's no, like, you could say, oh, well, I went to Euro 96, I never played, I wish I'd like on it. I loved every single minute, and we had an absolutely amazing team spirit.
Was that a proper band of brothers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And listen.
Many of them still good friends just now?
Derek, yes. Nowadays, obviously the drinking culture's not in there now, where it was about when we played and we were allowed a night out and we were allowed a few drinks and all that, and obviously at the right times. But we did. Do you know what I mean? I can remember coming back in flights and we would have a couple. I mean, nowadays it's never going to happen because of camera phones, because of, again, social media. So, but like when we met up, there was obviously Rangers players. There was Andy, Coisty, Dukey, Stuart McCall, and there was 7. And anyone sat anywhere.
So the Celtic and Rangers boys were tight in international duty. There was no, if anything, did you go out your way to mix and socialise with others?
By the way, it didn't even go out our way. It just happened. Yeah.
Just occurred.
Yeah. You'd come down and you'd sit at any table.
Everyone was comfortable in their own company.
Yes.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, are you actually happy you played in an era with no camera phones and social media?
Well, yeah.
That's a little aside, but
it is. Yes, it is what it is now, and you just have to deal with it, and players have to deal with it. It's hard at times, obviously. A lot of the time, it's hard for players and the abuse they get, which is disgraceful. Listen, I'm not going. It's another day. But it should be managed better. But yeah, probably. Yeah.
See if somebody had said to you back in '98 that 27 years on, Darren, Scotland still wouldn't have reached another World Cup, would that have astounded you?
Yes, yeah.
Because I think they made 2 of the 3 World Cups that were in the 90s. So we were taking it for granted almost.
We probably were taking it for granted, Derek. And I look at the players. I mean, I'm good pals with Bruni, Barry, Darren Fletcher, Faddy, Alan McGregor, Kenny Miller. And it must hurt that they never made a tournament, because they're players that deserve to make. And there's other players, but I'm just off the top of my head, deserve to make a tournament for the careers they had.
Do you think we're going to the World Cup next summer?
I think it'll be hard, but do we have the players? Yes, we do. When we get them all fit and they're all in the park at the same time.
Who do you like in the current team?
Listen, there's Andy, Kieran, John McGinn, McTominay. McTominay's been, and listen, I had Billy with the Scotland 19s, and I've got to say that the first day I had him, he came and he did the warm-up. And Derek, I'm not joking, I was blown away with what he put into the warm-up. And I actually says to him after that, I said, because he turned around, I think Billy's come out and said he wants to be the best player in the world. And I think that's great. That's not being big time or that. He just wants to strive and be the best. And he does it every single day in training. And he did it, and I was honestly totally blown away with him. And obviously worked with Andy at Dundee United.
John Shooter?
I worked with Soapy, yeah. But Andy every day trained as though it would be his last training session. He put every single thing into it. And like I always say, he'd keep the ball in a training game like it was a World Cup final. He put, I mean, and that's why Andy is where he's got to.
Is Andy Robertson one of those players, Darren, that you truly feel has got what he has deserved for what he's put into it?
1,000,000%, yeah.
I mean, his rise was outstanding and a huge credit to him, wasn't it? And what he's continuing to achieve is quite something.
And listen, Andy's at a club where they always strive to improve. I was at Celtic. So now every year they want to get better and better, and Liverpool want to get better and better. So it was going to come to a point where they're going to bring in a left back. I don't think that'll worry Andy.
Did you see the game at the weekend there, indeed?
Yeah, when he came on.
Arne Slot's signed the Hungarian for quite a few million. Took him off just after he'd been booked for diving. Yeah. Andy goes on, and you can see, with all due respect to the lad he replaced, you could see the immediate improvement in Liverpool. The urgency, the tone.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's done. And I mean, he's like, again...
It's like he's even more motivated now.
Listen, Derek, we've said about myself playing for Meadowbank and ending up with the World Cup. Yeah. Andy was at Queen's Park and ended up winning the Champions League.
It's a brilliant story.
It's an amazing story. And by the way, he deserves every single thing he's got. So, yes, I think there's players. The problem we have, Derek's problem, is that we've got 2 unbelievable left backs. And most of our players, Lewis Ferguson, who had with the 19s, who was a great boy, fantastic player, and most of our best players are in the middle of the pitch.
But it's potentially Steve Clarke's last year as Scotland manager. But deep down, do you think we've got a real chance of finally ending this kind of World Cup kind of exile, so to speak?
Yeah, well, we've just had a great result. Now, I could be wrong, but I think the Denmark result wasn't a great one. Them beating Greece.
Yeah,
I would
probably ideally a draw.
Listen, a draw, or you're hoping Greece win all the games and you finish second after beating Denmark.
If you're purely focusing on ourselves, it's an excellent start.
Yeah. By the way, listen, we can't affect other games or other results. You can only affect your own one. And we've had a good start. We've had a great start.
Look, you and the rest of the boys from 1998 will be hugely proud that you were the last squad to make it. But is that something you also want to lose?
Yeah, listen,
you want to see a squad end that?
Of course you do. Of course you do. I mean, we've been there. You want other players in our country to have a taste of that. I mean, you're not sitting there thinking, oh, you don't qualify because you'll still be. I mean, you've done it. Whether the next we qualify for the next 5, 6 World Cups, be great. I've been there, so I want other players to sample it and just they would love it.
And Steve Clarke has said deserved praise. He's taken us to 2 tournaments. But if we're talking about Craig Brown, Darren, where do you think Craig Brown stands in terms of Scottish football managers overall? Where do you think his rightful place is in terms of status and what he achieved and what he was for our game?
Well, he's up there with the best. He's up there. I mean, I think Craig qualified for 6 tournaments, not as manager, but in staff. So he must be up there. One.
Yeah.
I don't know other people's records, but
certainly as an individual, a human being, nobody better.
Best, yes, it must be the best.
Yeah, and as a person,
yeah,
you couldn't find any better.
Yes, as a person, but if I'm truthful, I actually don't think Craig got the credit he deserved.
Because
I don't know, Derek. I don't know. I mean, for what he did, and as I say, member of staff, I think I'm right in saying six
I think overall, either as part of backroom staff or as the main man. I mean, did he properly know your sense of debt to him? Would you ever have conversations with him and you told him?
Listen, since the day I retired, there'd be something, and I can't, something come on the television, I would text him, and then it would just become text back and forward, and it would be brilliant. And when I saw him at games, when I was an agent, I saw him at games, and it was just, I'm not being funny, and everyone's different. I'm going to love Craig because Craig gave me my 28 caps, right? But when he walked into a boardroom or what like that, I could have cuddled him like he was my dad. Do you know what I mean? Because I had so much respect for him and so much, I don't know, so much just
affection,
affection,
respect,
yes, affection,
regard,
yes,
yeah,
so
yeah.
It was just, he was a brilliant guy. He just loved the laugh and he loved the joke and all that. He just loved it. And I mean, listen, if you speak to the Gary Macks and Coisties and all that, they'll say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They adored him.
Darren, your club career was outstanding. 600 games, over 100 goals, 17 years, 10 clubs, last count. You go from Meadowbank to Newcastle, as you were mentioning earlier, £60,000.
Yes.
Which at that time was big money for Meadowbank. Was there any footballs or tracksuits involved as well as additionals?
There might have been, but yeah, 60,000 was good money for Meadowbank.
But for you, an incredible. What were you, 18?
I was 18. Yes. I mean, I played for Meadowbank against Cowdmeath at Central Park one week, and I played at St James's against Arsenal the following week. And there was one sub, and I was sub, and I went on and I actually got brought down in the box by Tony Adams, who never got the penalty. So I wish VAR had been in then. But that's true. I mean, that would never happen now, because a young kid going down, he goes into the youth or he goes into the under 20s or that. But it was right down, right in the right.
What was Darren Jackson like as an 18-year-old footballer? Were you cocky? Were you gallus?
No, not at all. No. Confident. Listen, if you're going for Meadowbank and going right into the Newcastle first team, you have to be confident.
Yeah. You have to carry yourself, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. And listen, I was probably about 10 stone then. So, but I mean, it was an amazing time. What a club.
When you come on, did you come on as a sub? Did you say?
Yeah.
Up front.
I came on up front. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're immediately confronted with Tony Adams.
Yeah. Bold, it might have been.
Wow.
So I mean, listen.
Wow.
Lee Dixon. I think Ian Wright played. So, I mean, you're talking like...
With any verbals? Did any of them try to intimidate you?
No,
Was there any kind of wee man chat?
not that I can remember. I was probably, I had my head in the cloud, just...
What a moment.
But it was, yeah, I mean, at that time it was 36,000 sellout.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it wasn't then the St James's Park we know now, but nevertheless, it's a fabulous it's a proper football.
It was 36,000, there was 10,000 locked out.
Incredible.
I mean, you could put another tier on and they would fill it. And obviously...
so the week or two before, you're working on a printers in Edinburgh?
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Did any of the guys, your colleagues at that time, come down to see you?
Yeah. I mean, they were over the moon. They because I played for Meadowbank, everyone was in the work was quite keen on the football now, and they were Meadowbank fans and all that. So the day I walked in, the day I got the 2 calls, I'm in Scotland under 21s, and then the following day, after I'd signed for Newcastle that night, the following day, all the newspapers came down to the work and taking photos of me at my printer and all that. So. So yeah, I mean they were happy for me, and they were great people. And
I mean, of course, Meadowbank Thistle as a club is no longer obviously with us. But I was speaking to Rob Douglas a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking so fondly about Meadowbank Thistle and how special a club it was. And I'm guessing for you as well.
Listen, you talk about we've spoken about Craig. Craig spoke very, very highly of Terry Christie. Terry's the same. Derek, that when I see him, there's 2 people, and listen, Jim McLean probably deserved 1, but I gave Terry Christie and Alec Miller one of my Scotland caps each. Because of what they did for me in my career. Terry took a chance. He was my deputy headmaster at school.
Did he wear a duffel coat back then as well?
Yes, yeah. And he took a chance on me where I'd been on trial with Hibs, been on trial with Hearts, and I'd gone under 21s, and then I went junior for 3 games, and Terry paid £3,000, and Terry was just, and that's probably probably his regret, but one of my biggest regrets is that Terry never got the chance higher up, because he deserved it. And by the way, he would get a job now as a set piece coach because he was doing it then.
Ahead of his time?
He was ahead of his time, yes.